What is up, True Fitness family? This is Coach Conway, aka Adrian Conway, the owner and founder of True Fitness. Welcome to another episode of the True Fitness Podcast. We are wrapping up 2024, and it's going to come very quickly to an end. I record this on December 19th. Gosh, I thought it was the 17th, and then I looked up and realized it's the 19th. So it's even closer to the big guy coming than I expected. Luckily, my wife is carrying the weight for the majority of preparation, while I get to keep my head down and stay focused on the day-to-day, doing the thing with True and everything else that we do. So I'm very grateful and appreciative of all the wives out there that carry the weight of the good stuff. I'm not going to get into too many details just in case there's kids around, but you know who you are, and we appreciate you. All that aside, today's episode is focused on the power of accountability. Um, Accountability, I feel as though is sometimes, I don't want to say a dirty word. Um, but it's something that a lot of people don't lean into. They tend to lean away from. It's a word that makes people very uncomfortable. When I say the phrase "you will be held accountable," or "you should be accountable to your actions," or "there will be accountability for what just took place," like all these things, it tends to remind us of punishment of some sort. The cool thing is accountability, like consequence, goes both in the positive direction and in the negative direction. So, because we think of consequence also often as a negative word, we're really misled because you can have accountability for great actions and you can also have accountability for poor actions. Accountability is the state of being held responsible for something or someone, or the willingness to accept responsibility for one's actions. Now, the reason this podcast is about the power of accountability is because, to me, this is the bridge to every area of success within your life, within my life, within the life of any high level performing human, athlete, lawyer, doctor, PhD, disciple of Christ, mom who wants to lose 10 pounds and keep it off, dad who wants to lose his beer belly and increase his hormone production and be more active and stay that way. Accountability is the needed aspect. Accountability is the most overlooked aspect to anything that you want to achieve in your life. So, Coach Conway, why is it that accountability is this problem? Why do you speak of it in such high regard? I will tell you right now that there are very few people on this earth with the sound and strength and discipline that have the ability to set a goal and go get that goal on their own. Do those people exist? They do. How many is it, coach? Man, it's probably like 1 in 100,000, maybe. And I'm not even joking around. I'm not even trying to scare you. I'm not even trying to do this to get a laughing response. I'm not even trying to say it to make it seem like a jaw-dropping statistic. I'm being as real as I possibly can here with the volume of humans I've interacted with, I've coached, I've taught, I've lectured to. I've tried to help navigate weight loss, weight gain, performance enhancement, all the stuff. There are so few people who can see information, digest information, take it into their own life, and then apply it to get the results they desire. It's almost immeasurable. It's such a small degree and small percentage of human beings. So, with all that considered, what do most of us need? And I can't even. I want to be honest with you guys, as the founder of True Fitness, as someone who played Division One football, as someone who tries his best to live his life as a disciple of Jesus, and I consider myself one of the most disciplined people that I know, which means that when I put my mind to something and then I set this plan in action, I pretty much am willing to do anything that it takes to make the plan be sought through, meaning that to make it come into fruition, to see it through to fulfillment, to do the deed, to do the thing. And I consider myself a pretty authentic and transparent human also. All that said, without accountability, I'm nothing. And I'm not joking around. And again, I'm not gassing you up. I'm not gassing up the word accountability for the podcast sake. I'm not trying to sell you coaching, although I'm selling you coaching because I'm telling you right now that that is one of the best ways for you to breed in self accountability, to learn it, to fulfill it. You got to put something on the line. There's got to be a consequence for your actions or lack thereof actions. Otherwise, there's no follow through. And that's how accountability gets built in. Now, I'm not there yet in this conversation, but I want to say again, without accountability, I'm nothing. And I say that because I could have the purest intentions. And if I don't tie someone in to my own goals and my intentions, if in 2025 I say, hey, I want to make it back to the CrossFit games, wherever they might be for the age groups, I want to go participate. If I don't say that to someone who's close to me that holds me accountable to the mornings when I don't want to train, when it's cold in the garage and I got to put the heater on and the heater don't quite get it where I want it to go. And I have to wake up early to be moving before my kids so I can still make breakfast, so I can still do the thing. And I have to wake up before I teach level 1 and level 2 seminars to train, because when we train at lunch, I've got to prioritize my team and the team that I'm with and the team building experience that lunchtime throwdowns can be. And well, we don't get a lot of time to warm up and cool down. So there's got to be short, sweet, and intense. When I have to do that stuff, when I got to turn down my desire to have a beer a couple nights a week to finish my day because I know how it can impede on my high quality of sleep or my potential recovery for the next day. When I don't have accountability for those things, and let me tell you something, accountability is different for everyone. And for me, it's about sharing someone within my dream or within my goal, and they don't even have to say a thing. And that's, I think, maybe where I'm unique is that even if I just know, even if my brother just knows that I plan to go to the CrossFit games and then he's over and I understand that he's rocking with me and he's doing stuff and he might even encourage me to have a cold one, but I know he knows what I'm trying to do. Well, I'm going to stay more true to the end result because of his presence and because he knows intimately what I'm trying to achieve. That's accountability. He don't got to say, AC, you know better. He don't got to say, hey, I know you're not having another beer. Don't you have to train tomorrow? He don't have to say that because I'm already so focused that I understand that. But having people know adds in that baseline of accountability where I might just say, it's not a big deal. I'll be fine tomorrow. Right. It's the same thing with my wife. If I let my wife know, hey, I want to run a marathon and I want to run it in X time. And I want to sleep in the morning, but she knows my running schedule. And typically I'm out of that bed before 6 in the morning to pound the pavement, to get in the miles so that I can still contribute to my family, but I can still do the thing. And right, you guys get the idea. If you're listening to this, I hate to ramble, but I want to build context for this conversation about accountability and the power of it, even in my life, for one of the most disciplined, structured, and sound practical people that you'll meet, which is me. Sounds boring, sounds whatever. Hey, it's got me where I'm to today, and I'm very happy and fulfilled with where I'm at and where my family is. And I believe that in my personal life, it's a spiritual gift. Some of these ways I've been able to discern good and bad choices, develop discipline, stick to it, find peace and freedom even in that, in the application of it. So there's a lot to it, folks. But I just want to let you know that even me or people like me aren't free from the power of accountability. Now, when it comes to people who struggle with discipline, when it comes to people who struggle with follow through, when it comes to people who have the personality type that love to have visions of grandeur, that love to share their goals with everybody, we're talking about it. Hey, I got this goal. Yeah, I'm starting this business. Hey, I'm doing this thing. Oh, yeah, man, I love it so much. I'm doing all this. I'm gonna read 50 books. Hey, listen, I'm gonna do X, I'm gonna do Y, I'm gonna do this for my spouse. Oh, yeah, we're committed. We're doing it every day this year, 2025. Hallelujah. We're doing it all. There's people that do that. Every time they talk about stuff, it brings them joy and fulfillment. And guess what that is? A false sense of hope and a false sense of accomplishment. And that sounds really harsh, but it's very true. And there's data to back it up. There's studies about people who talk so much about what they're doing or what they're going to do that they put forth less effort and actually to achieve that thing. It's because they're fractionally fulfilled in the moment for something that didn't actually happen. They feel like it happened because they're talking about it. It brings them, they visualize it happening, all this joy. Oh my goodness. They need accountability. So when they tell someone, if you like, I want you to think about this from a social perspective. When people tell you, hey, I'm going to be doing this. Yeah, that's right. I'm doing it. And I want to achieve this and I want to do this thing. It's in this timeline. It's on this thing, whatever. How are you going to do that? Ask them. What does that look like? Who's holding you accountable to that? Like, how are you going to be accountable to those early mornings that you're saying you're going to have every day? What happens when the day is not a good day and the night of sleep's not a good night of sleep? What happens then? Because I'm going to tell you what happens then. You show your true colors. And if you don't have a support system, if you don't have accountability, you fail. And when you fail, guess what you do? You get discouraged. And when you get discouraged, guess what you do? You have doubts. And then you down talk yourself. And then you say, that was a stupid goal. I knew I couldn't do it. I'm a loser. I don't follow through on anything. You trap yourself in being who you know you are, which is not someone who rises to the occasion, not someone you yourself can even trust. Sad. That's what that is. That's sad. Now, here's the good news is that you can have accountability for any and everything that you want. More bad news, your pride will block you from achieving it. Your pride. Because here's what's complicated about accountability, and I don't like this aspect either. It involves other humans. That is crappy. I actually do not like when other humans know my struggles. I don't like when other humans know areas of my life that I might struggle with follow through, disingenuine actions or words. Anything. Gosh, the list is long and I could rant about where my struggles might personally lie, but I just don't like it. I'm a bit of a lone wolf. And this has attacked me in many different ways, from spiritually in my life to things that I could have achieved as a Division I football player to things that I could have achieved as an individual CrossFit Games pursuing athlete. And it's because I often think that I know what's best for me and that I can find my own way. And I've proven that to myself that I can, but you see, even there, it's a trap because maybe I could have achieved so much more with the help of others had I leaned on them more. And I believe that that's true. So that is something that's a great motivation for me to have these harsh and hard direct conversations with you as an audience or a listener, or an athlete, and encourage you to get people in your life in every aspect that you hope to do great things. Every aspect. If you're married and you're a husband, you should have other men in your life that have a marriage that you want to have like them, and they should be mentoring you. They should be holding you accountable to serving your wife, to loving your wife, to loving your children, to teaching your children. And what's that look like? Why didn't you? Why didn't you take your wife on a date and within the last 2 weeks? Why didn't you prioritize this? Why didn't you do right? If you're a woman listening to this and you are a wife or a spouse, the same goes for you. How do you serve your husband? How do you um, spur along his growth personally, right? If he's supposed to be leading you and supporting you as a spouse, do you see him with those actions and do you hold him accountable to those kind of things? And there's just so many things, and you'll need other women to help you with that. Athletes, if you think that you're going to follow a blog of programming, so a general program, and you think you're going to have the audacity to say you're going to the CrossFit Games or that you're going to do something at a very high level, I think you should guess again, because I think you need to have people talking to you about how you're training, not just what you're doing in training, and what kind of mindset you bring in, and how do you undulate the RPE or the effort that you put into each session, because you can't go 10 out of 10 all the time. There's a lot of people listening to this to go 10 out of 10 on every session, and you're going to burn out. You're going to be injured. And when you're injured, you can't perform. When it's time to go 10 out of 10, your 10 out of 10 is really 8.5 out of 10. And then so the other athletes that are going 10 out of 10 and you're 8.5, they're getting better than you incrementally every day, twice a day. And that really adds up and it becomes exponential. You need accountability. I want to turn this conversation of accountability to New Year's resolutions, Rise 45, which is called Spark this year, starts January 6th. So, I said, hey, I don't got nothing to sell you. I got something to sell you. I got something that is a very baseline level of accountability that will help take you to at least a new level of awareness more than anything. $45 isn't expensive enough to be a high level of accountability, but it is enough to get your feet wet with paying to play. Now, some people are going to say, Adrian, why don't you just do this for free then? If it's not about the, well, if it was about the money, we'd charge a lot more. We have done that in the past. We want this to be something that anyone can participate in so that they can get this experience with themselves, with learning the application of the daily habits that we encourage people to follow through and apply. And in case you don't know what Rise 45 is, it's a 45-day challenge where you're going to try to be as compliant as you can with 7 daily habits. You could come in wanting to lose weight, improve your overall health. You could want to improve your life performance. You could want to look better naked. You could want to have new self confidence. You could want to gain size and mass, right? What we're going to do is track 7 daily things: sleep, hydration, nutrition in regards to giving you very specified goals if you desire them, like macronutrients. It could be, I'm going to do carnivore. I'm going to do the Paleolithic diet. I'm going to do keto. I want to intermittent fast. Whatever that is, you're going to track your nutrition in some way. We want everyone to focus on micronutrients. So that's number 4. Eat a minimum of 500 grams of fruits and veggies. Enrichment, which is like a psychological or spiritual growth outside of the gym, outside of physical training. We want people to have 20 minutes of planned activity where you're reading, nourishing your soul, training your mind in some way. Maybe it's prayer, maybe it's meditation. Physical training, a minimum of 20 minutes. A lot of folks that dive into this, of course, is Rise 45. They train longer than that because they're literally training to give their body a stimulus that wants to spur along lean muscle growth and burning body fat. So a lot of times they're going outside of that window. And we want to track your daily activity level, or your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis is what NEAT is an acronym for. And this basically means your body movements outside of the gym. We want to encourage people to move, to get a standing desk, a lot like what I'm standing at right now, to have maybe a walking treadmill under your desk if you're there for a true 8 to 10 hours a day. But do things that create other activities outside the gym, because that is where you get some of the most bang for your buck when it comes to burning calories each and every day. So many of us are very limited with 45 minutes to 60 minutes within a gym. And then we think, wow, I trained so hard. Maybe I deserve this treat. I trained so hard. Maybe I deserve more calories. I trained so hard. But to be honest with you, there's only so much intensity and so much you can achieve in 1 hour. And that often needs and demands that you stay in a very strict caloric deficit in order to see some really transformative results. Um, and so it can be very misleading because what your brain and body are going to tell you is like, wow, we need fuel. We're building muscle now and we're burning fat. But again, it can be very misleading, and some tracking and quantification can be necessary. And so NEAT, this in Rise 45, it's going to be tracking steps, can be very beneficial in order to help you practice the habits of more daily movement in your everyday life. So those are the things that we're going to track. The goal is for you to have a great transformation, whatever your goal is. If you want to lose 45 pounds in 45 days, we're going to try to help you do that. That's steep, but we're going to try to help you do that. And we want to see a day 1 and a day 45 photo. We're going to take those that are most compliant with the 7 daily habits through 45 days and those that have the best radical transformations, and they're going to get a reward at the end of this thing. So nonetheless, it's $1 a day. It's very consistent. You can go to ttrufitness.com to get signed up for that. I want to encourage everybody to listen to this, to share it with somebody. Share it with somebody that needs some momentum in the new year. It doesn't start till January 6th. You got plenty of time to do some planning. You got plenty of time to indulge in the holidays with your family. Hey, I'm not the kind of coach that's going to tell you not to do that. I think that it's foolish. It's a fool's errand to be like, through the holidays, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. What? For what? To me, that doesn't even sound logical or like a good idea. Enjoy your family, enjoy your friends. And let's step into 2025 with a different mindset, very focused on the future. I say all that to say that this challenge brings a unique form of accountability because you're investing. Now, investing, how much is worth it, right? So $1 a day. Most of you listening to this are rich. And I say that in regards to, you have a cell phone. You have probably multiple TVs in your home. You might not own land and own a home, but you pay a significant amount of money to live where you're at. You probably drive something. And if you don't drive something, you have the means to um, Uber or public transportation around. You have some kind of membership, a gym membership, something, right? But that's the vast majority of everyone. That's rich in my eyes. Okay. With that being said, $1 a day, and you're struggling with commitment or accountability, or like you want to have a sugary treat and you're like, I really want to transform, but $1 a day, that's not that expensive. It ain't going to be worth it to you. So again, this challenge, Rise 45, isn't about like us going after your money, because it's a baseline. It's a beginning level opportunity for you to flex this discipline or new practice of daily habits, because we want it to become habitual. Often, to make very dramatic transformations, there has to be a high level of buy-in. There used to be this, and I'm sure it's still a thing because I thought it was a genius idea, but it was a diet bet where you would like put in money And if you didn't achieve the thing, or if you stopped working out or didn't work out every day or something, you lost the money that you bet on yourself. Essentially, you were betting on your opportunity to be compliant with the challenge, to be accountable to your actions, and have some follow through. And if at the end of the time you didn't lose the weight or do the thing, you lost the money. But it would be like a significant amount of money from what I know or can channel, at least in my mind. So picture this, is that you pay $500 a month in order to make a transformation. And then you find yourself saying things like, you know what? I'm just struggling with this right now. And it's just so inconvenient for me to wake up early. You're paying $500 a month and you're not going to do the thing that the coach is telling you. You know that you have to get on a call with them once a week and you're not going to do it, because that's some of the stuff that we offer. We offer everyday text and engagement, interaction, person to person relationship, very customized macronutrients, meal plans. We will dial in your meal plans and plan every week for you with food. Give us a food list. We'll help you do that. We'll give you tips on when to eat. It'll be very detail oriented. $500 a month to be completely dialed one to one. Don't worry, we have nutrition coaching that is also as cheap as $100 a month that will keep you accountable, and it's just a little less everyday personable. But accountability is the level that dictates not the quality of service necessarily, but it's the touch points that a coach can afford to give you. And I'm going to tell you right now, it is undefeated that the people that pay the higher price point and come to us for high level coaching, whether it's performance or nutrition biased, like they want lifestyle coaching or they want to make it to the CrossFit, the people who pay the most do the training the hardest and do the training the most. And it's because they're paying for the service, right? That's the accountability. It's the practice of the coach. It's the information that we give you, but the accountability is the exchange that's taking place. You're accountable, right? You make the money, you give it to someone else, and then you got to do the thing. I bring this up, and as I close, because I don't want to go too long, as usual, I'm trying to keep these under 30 minutes. We're in an age where every piece of information that you are curious about your body, about your nutrition, about how to train, about the workouts to do, all of it is available for free. ChatGPT exists. Now you got to know how to give it the right prompts, and even information there is misleading and inaccurate, but it's getting better, of course, daily. Um, you could have them write workouts for you. You could have ChatGPT give you food plans. You could have ChatGPT do any and everything. But the lack of accountability that exists, the lack of interpersonal interactions, the lack of having someone actually call you out and be like, hey, you told me you were going to do this thing and now you're not doing this thing. Why is there a disconnect between your words and your actions? You see, because this type of interaction right here, that's coaching. That is coaching. That is real accountability. And it seems completely uncomfortable, but it is what drives good results. I take this to weight loss. I take this to weight gain. I take this to performance enhancement. I'm having this conversation with athletes that I train on a regular basis. Hey, you tell me you want to go to semifinals this year. Yet and still your air squat looks the same that it did last year. And I've told you to drive your knees out and I've told you to keep your chest up. It's on you every single day to practice that in your warm up. It's on you every single day to apply it when you front squat. I've told you for 18 months to widen your hands on your snatch. Hey, widening your hands would be a good idea. Hey, widening your hands would help you with the receiving position. Hey, widening your hands would help you receive the bar. Not only would it leave you higher in your hip in the power position when you jump the bar overhead, but it will help the bar place further back so it lands midfoot every time. Yet and still, what are you doing? You're grabbing the bar in the same spot you were 18 months ago. That is a lack of following coaching. That is a lack of accountability. And that's partly on me as coach and on them as athlete. They're the ones that want the results. I'm communicating it. They're the ones not following through. So that's where I've had to learn the art of turning up the intensity, being more direct. I can't talk to all my clients in the same way. Absolutely not. The same way that I respond very differently to people saying, Adrian, you're not being good enough, would be a very different response from my wife if someone came up and told her she's not being good enough. I'm prompted to ask them, what do I need to do to be better? And you're right. You know what? I'm not being good enough. Hers might be like, that feels wrong. That feels yucky. She might feel defensive. She's less likely to follow through and correct that thing because she feels maybe slighted there, right? And it's the football player, it's the lifelong athlete in my mind that makes that okay for me. I love that feedback because all I want for myself is to be the best version of me. When my days are done and I'm a coach and I'm a husband and I'm a father and I'm a disciple of God, not in that order, I want to leave here and say, like, man, I did the very best that I could. And that includes other people giving me advice and being like, hey, bro, this is the area. That's it right there. You got to clean that up. Strengthen your weakness. You'll be better because of it. Oh, you know what? Yeah, as a dad, you're dropping the ball right here, man. When's the last time you did this with your son? Did you ask him this? Did you ask your daughter that? You thought about that? Because the world's going to see, right? There's so many rabbit holes that I could go down. And I know that as a listener, if you've been following me for quite a while, you'll probably relate and understand those things. But I want to be the best version of me when my days are done. And so accountability and feedback are the cornerstones for that type of growth. It's essential for your training. It's essential for this transformation going into the new year. Rise 45 is the beginning tier of it. One-to-one nutrition and a relationship with one of our coaches is the next step. When you get into Rise 45 and you pay $1 a day to make this transformation, you're fired up about it because it's January 6th and the start of 2025. Well, what happens on day 46? Is it you're like, oh, I'm done. I'm going to reward myself. Cool. Reward yourself. You should. You deserve it. 45 days you've been grinding. What happens though when you gain 5 pounds back in a day because you rewarded yourself? How are you going to deal with that emotionally? How are you going to deal with the rebound of water weight? How are you going to lose that again? How are you going to get back on track? Should your calories remain the same that they were for 45 days? How do we change that? And then how are you going to be accountable to that information? Again, all I'm doing is telling you, you can go find this information out from an app. You can go find this information out by yourself. But there's nothing like having access to a coach once a week, twice a month, in a weekly check-in where someone can pay you their mind about the advice that you need to hear and say it in a way that is going to cut you to the heart enough to prompt not sorrow, not worldly sorrow, not feeling bad for yourself, not woe is me, all, but action that puts you closer to your goals. Because that's all that matters. That is all that matters to each and every one of our coaches on our coaching staff. It could be myself. It could be my wife, Ashley. It could be Luis. It could be Chris. It could be Sheena. It doesn't matter who it is. Everybody that works under this umbrella wants the best for the people who sign up for the service that they get. Could be a static program, could be one of our live programs, could be one of our camps that we host in person, and it could be one-to-one coaching. But we want our people to get the best results that they can. And so much of that isn't contingent upon the data that we send you. It's not contingent upon the reps and sets and the rest and the supersets and the trisets and the unique combination when you get to see the way that I deploy not just the science of programming but the art of what CrossFit really is and how to prepare for certain aspects of it. How we try to fill in the margins of our experience so that there is nothing untested, nothing we aren't prepared for. All those things are cool, but none of that stuff is why I can help you the most. It's this. It's the reason that you listen to this podcast. It's the reason that some people are listening to this are very deterred and turned off because they're not ready for that type of commitment and excitement. And some people are fired the freak up. They're fired up because they hear this and they're like, man, that's what I need right there. I do need someone like that in my life. I need a fire under my butt and I need accountability to follow through. If I really want to be someone different, I got to start to put my money where my mouth is. Otherwise, I won't follow through. And some people know that enough about themselves and some people don't, and that's okay. But what I'm here to say is that accountability is important. Accountability is for everyone. The elite of the most elite have accountability partners in ways that you may never imagine. The coaches of all coaches have accountability to post into social media because you see, everybody has a weak point. You know what mine is? It's teaming, it's teamwork, it's getting on social media, it's consistently posting, and you might never think that that's true, but it's because I tirelessly work at it so that it seems habitual and seems automatic. And I've had to find ways to post that seem authentic and organic, and I had to find that for myself to make myself be prompted to want to do it. But there's great business minds out there who don't know how to create content. There are great content creators who have no minds with business because they're not actually good at any service. They're just good content creators. Everybody's got this weakness. Everybody's got this hole. And again, it can be you as an athlete. It can be you as a human, managing your lifestyle, learning how to be disciplined. We help with that. Learning how to be accountable to your nutrition choices. Of course, we help with that. Learning how to apply your recovery practices so that you're not just this dog in the weight room and in the gym because you love to train, but your results aren't showing the fruit of your efforts because you don't sleep enough. You don't eat well. You don't prep your food. You don't reduce external stress outside of the gym. All of these things matter. You cannot just beat yourself to the pulp and just pride yourself and bump your chest and say, I love to go hard in the gym. It only matters if you love to go hard in the gym if you got fruits of your hard work to show. Nonetheless, Accountability is essential. Everybody needs it. We got a lot of it here at True Fitness, and we'd love to help you with your goals going into 2025. If you're looking for a place to get started and just test the waters, Rise 45 is that spot for you. Go to ttrufitness.com, sign up for Rise 45. We start January 6th. Please reach out to us if you have any questions, if you have any doubts, and if you feel like there's obstacles that we could help you remove before the challenge gets going. But we'd love to hear from you, and share this message with someone that needs to hear it. Most importantly, keep rising.